Welcome back everyone for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be talking about none other than Chainlink. You guys will know since we've started the channel, we have continued to champion Chainlink. You know, I owe it a lot from an investment point of view, as it did very, very well for me in the prior bull market. In fact, it was one of our real winners. I think I first stumbled upon Chainlink having listened to a guy called Tika Tawari. Some of you Chainlink OGs will remember he was one of the first people publicly to come out and kind of really shout about it. And it's done very well since. And I would just like to say, right off the bat, before we get into a very, very interesting update, that you haven't seen anything from Chainlink yet. You really haven't, guys. Okay, yeah, you've seen it. You know, be facilitated in DeFi and be the whole reason why DeFi was facilitated and really solve that problem with getting off-chain data on-chain. But now you are about to see Chainlink facilitate trillions and trillions, tens, potentially hundreds of trillions of dollars of value in digitalized real-world assets transfer around the world. And what is the value of that going to be? I just want to show you guys a historic snapshot. Share this video around, guys. Like the video, comment, subscribe to this channel. We bring the realest crypto content that there is on YouTube, and we really do believe that. And also we are now in a website format, and we'll be going over to the Australian bank ANZ user using Chainlink, and we're going to play a number of clips in this video. But you know, you had the likes of Dogecoin and Shiba Inu get to 30 billion in market cap in the last bull market. What do you think Chainlink, having a real world use case, is going to do in this one? We'll see. And of course, from a price point of view, it's having quite a nice time on the short term, but in a broader perspective, you know, Chainlink's basically been ranging for nearly 500 days now. When it breaks out of that range, it's going to be monumental. And we do think it's going to break out to the upside. So we are going to be talking about Chainlink in this video. This video was largely inspired by news that we had come out yesterday from Citigroup will let rich clients use private blockchains to transfer assets. And of course, we've got JP Morgan exploring blockchain-based deposit tokens. I want to go ahead and dive into a clip that we have played previously of someone who is also looking to use Chainlink's CCIP, talking about the kind of volume that they do in regards to derivatives. And all derivatives are going to be tokenized: property, currency, stable coin, you know, you name it, everything's going to be tokenized. And actually Chainlink is at the heart potentially of this. They're already working with more banks than anyone, facilitating more actual live drills than pretty much anyone. You know, they are a colossal project. And we're also, by the way, I've got lots of quant followers that will be kind of feeling like maybe Chainlink's stealing some of their thunder. But no, I see a place for both of these crypto projects. So let's go ahead and play this clip, and then we're going to play a clip from Sergey, and then we're going to play a clip of the likes of JP Morgan and other such things talking about, you know, where this industry is kind of at with tokenization.
Tomorrow. Stephen Prosperi. I work at DTCC, which is a post-trade market infrastructure provider. Our core business is providing clearance and settlement services for U.S. securities markets, and post some pretty big numbers. I think last year we processed $2.4 quadrillion worth of securities. We often get asked if that's a real number, and it is in fact a real number. And it represents basically all broker-to-broker trades of equities, corporate debt, treasuries in the US markets. So naturally, we're very focused on blockchain and the opportunities it can present in the kind of industry where we sit in the industry. And kind of getting back to the question, cross-chain interoperability. We think it's very important from day one of our exploration in this space, about 6 or so years now. We've kind of felt it important that there won't be one blockchain to rule them all. There will be multiple out there. The currencies will live across different chains, and other assets of value represented through tokens will live across different chains. So very similar to the role that we play in traditional markets of bringing all of those together, and similar to Swift in some ways in that nature, being connected to all the banks and broker dealers to provide services, whether it's clearing services, settlement services, a lot of those same aspects. They'll transform, they'll look a little bit different, but fundamentally are very similar, I think, in a digital asset world. So in most of the initiatives that we take on, we look at how can this plug into multiple blockchains and how can things coming down the pike like CCIP be used to help us kind of maintain that view, and again, to not build something that's already built, and to not have to stand up infrastructure to support 100 blockchains, if we can support one piece that can then plug into those 100 blockchains today, maybe 200 blockchains tomorrow.
So you can definitely argue that Quant's doing a similar thing. There's this real rift between the Chainlink and Quant community. Let's end that, right? We want to all work together. The better tech will win. Or it maybe not even the better tech, the better kind of positioned blockchain will win in terms of have more of a share, but they'll both do very well in my humble opinion. You know, we've had nothing but good news. If you guys want to check out our website, allincrypto.com, a lot of crypto altcoins don't get covered, and we will bridge that gap and make sure you guys stay up to date with all the latest and greatest things happening. But, you know, ANZ uses Chainlink CCIP, one of the largest banks in Australia. You know, it's just, the writing is on the wall with Chainlink, guys. And again, I refer back to this historical snapshot. Where do you think Chainlink gets to in regards to market cap? You know, I mean, Cardano got to nearly 70 billion without even having smart contracts enabled. To add to, I've seen a couple of comments in the comment section talking about, I need to talk about Chainlink's token release schedule. We'll do a full video on that, and we'll actually do a write-up on allincrypto.com for you guys, because it is a very, very good point to raise, because, you know, Chainlink is set to release quite a lot of tokens over a period of time, and that, of course, is going to dilute the supply, and there might be a bearing on price there, and it will definitely affect price. The next thing I want to move on to is Sergey Nazarov, the founder or co-founder and the CEO of Chainlink, actually talking in a recent interview with the NASDAQ about, you know, exactly what's going on here. And then we're going to finish off with a clip from the likes of JP Morgan and such talking about this industry. So let's go ahead and get into the clip of Sergey.
Tell us about your experience so far at Sibos and where the majority of banks are today in their journey to on-chain finance.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised this year about how far many people are. There was previously a thesis of I will make my own chain and everyone will go on my chain and I don't care about anyone else's chain. That thesis is now gone. Nobody is saying I'm going to make my own chain and I don't care about my counterparties, their chains. I think everyone has now realized that there's going to be huge fragmentation, that banks are going to have their own chains. Every bank will have at least one chain. Every bank will probably have their own stable coin. Every bank will probably have hundreds of real world asset tokens that they all generate. And I think this realization leads to the next question of, well, if we all have hundreds of our own chains, how do we transact with each other? Because our chains are not compatible. All our chains use different technologies. They're on different systems. They can't even communicate with each other. And so what I've seen is both an understanding that everyone will have their own chain. I've seen people appreciate the need for connectivity and interoperability. And then I've seen a few banks like ANZ Bank, which manages about $1 trillion in assets, which we worked with to create a kind of green asset, green nature-based asset that was purchasable using stablecoins that have gone further. So I now see banks not only doing custody, not only having their own chains, not only planning to do stablecoins, but actually starting to make real-world assets, and those real-world assets being in demand by their clients. So I would say we're at the beginning of something very, very big here for the capital markets. And I would say that getting them connected to each other will accelerate that. And then getting them connected to the public blockchain world will accelerate both their use of blockchain technology and the use of public blockchain technology, really to the benefit of everyone.
We are at an inflection point, ladies and gentlemen, and this is something that's continuously mentioned, this whole idea of an inflection point. There's no doubt that blockchain is literally changing the entire financial landscape. And just like when the internet came about and put out many businesses because they didn't want to adjust to the change, blockchain's no different, guys, and it's potentially on a bigger scale in terms of the trillions that it encapsulates. The last clip I've got is from a chat. The Digital Asset Week in California 2023. Disruption unlocking tokenization, or distribution unlocking tokenization. Let's go ahead and dive into what's said here. You know, he talks about this kind of Spotify moment, and then we're going to wrap the video up. And hopefully the picture's very plain to see in regards to Chainlink and what it's doing to this entire industry and how much of a key player it's going to be, and potentially from an investment point of view, what the value is there. But this is not financial advice, just all my own opinion. So let's get into the clip and then we're going to wrap things up.
I think we're seeing the same. I think what we're seeing when we're talking to investors and putting those applications on their phones, on their hands, they're very excited to get it. Every focus group that we've done is showing the same. They're getting new access to us that they couldn't before. They can do in a click of a button what they couldn't do, you know, in 3 months, and they can trade, they can leverage, they can borrow against the assets and so on. And I called it before the Spotify moment. It's like, you know, it is the ability to suddenly access and buy, you know, a building at a click of a button. That's not something people are used to. So if we can make that in stage, I think the investors are definitely are there to gain, and we're hearing it from them in focus groups and so on. So the next thing I want to ask you is about, you know, the hurdles. What are you seeing as the hurdles for this thing that, because we're seeing that the asset managers are already here, tokenizing a lot of assets. You're tokenizing, all of you are tokenizing assets. And we're seeing also the investors are interested to buy assets that are good. And the question about tokenization is not even there, because on an interface like we showed you, tokenization is not even a thing. It's just an application where you buy from your financial institution. So what are the hurdles for making this the kind of the predominant way of buying and selling alternatives and other assets that are tokenized? So if you had to kind of talk about the top 2 hurdles that you're seeing right now, what would they be? And you know, we can start with you, Will.
Top 2, I don't know if I have 2. I think at some level you just gotta do it. Like, I think there's been a lot of, over the past, you know, a lot of these groups of people have been getting together for a long time, right? And I think we've just gotta do it, right? And like actually go out, not do POCs, do live products, try and put into market. And then, you know, you learn by doing that, and you learn from your customers by doing that. So I think it's, at a certain level, it's just time to move past POC stage, and people just gotta come out and put products out there. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting past that mental hurdle for institutions.
So POC is obviously proof of concept. So going past the kind of theory stage into practical, we're at this inflection point, guys. It's coming fast. And we would like to be on the right side of it. And also Chainlink, from a price point of view, if we go into log, is really in an inflection point. You have now just been ranging, I've seen this range drawn in all kinds of ways, for I think it's near 500 days. That's a very long time. And anybody who has a basic understanding of technical analysis will know the longer you range, the bigger the move that comes out the back end of it. This is going to be a monster. This is what we would define as a suspected stage 1. We look for that break, retest, and then this is your stage 2. And who knows where this is going to take us. You want to learn about stage analysis, do consider becoming a Patreon. I believe that's all we've got for you guys. So very interesting. Keep Chainlink on your radar. Chainlink's going to be absolutely huge, and we'll keep you informed on this channel. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next.